and on and on. Well, part of the problem that we run into is that most companies can't afford to put out a product that has enough efficacy in it that it actually does something for the human body, again, biologically. So when you think about these products and you think about the ingredients that are in these products, by having our own manufacturing facility, by having it debt-free so that we're not paying out a massive, massive burn rate on our cash flow, we have the ability to have this incredible luxury that most people don't, because when the formulations start running through the mowers' heads, we know that we're going to get what is necessary for the body to, again, have the activity it needs, to be at its highest potential, to be limitless in its potential. And so when you think about it, here's Tom Maurer Jr., who just got back this last week from a trip through Japan, went out and really launched Encompass 360 and had a lot of fun with it because people were so excited about what it does, what it is, how it works. And so here's just a brief overview, and then I'll turn it over to Tom Maurer Jr., our CEO and co-founder of Sisel International. But with this 30 years of experience, what he recognized was that there was a need to have kind of a complete wellness supplement that would give us all of the best ingredients with essential vitamins and antioxidants and minerals and trace minerals, and then as well a driving force with fulvates or fulvic acid that really drive it deep into the cellular tissue that deliver this nutrition the right way. And as we all know, fulvic acid is this phenomenal ingredient that takes in the nutrition that your cells need, but while it's there, it picks up the garbage and carries that out in your waste. And so the great thing is that your cells at the mitochondria level are actually getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and performing at the highest levels, kind of like getting a full tune-up for your car. After you get that tune-up, man, your gas mileage goes up, your power goes up, you start to see, that it runs better, the idle's not bouncing around on the trigger, it's got all kinds of good things happening. Well, your body's the same way. Unfortunately, we take our cars in more for tune-ups than we do our bodies, don't we? And so the difficulty is, how do we bring out a product that has 13 vitamins, 9 essential minerals, 48 trace minerals, antioxidants in a proprietary blend that nobody else has? But when we start talking about RDI, which I'll let Tom Jr. go over tonight, but when we start talking about RDI, Tom Jr. has been researching this product for years and years and years because he knew he had to have the best of the best. And it had to be at a level that we would actually have something happen. So when we're talking about RDI levels, the RDI levels are based on what we know out in the world. All of the science is telling us that you have to have certain numbers, certain percentages inside those, or in the amounts of those ingredients so that it actually does something helpful so that we can feel better and have more energy. Now, of course, I grabbed a product immediately when it came off the line because I always have to be the guinea pig and start using it immediately, and everybody asks, well, what is it? How does it feel? I got to tell you guys, I have had more energy the last couple of weeks since I've been on this product because of how great the ingredient base is. And so when Tom Jr. talks about it, you guys are going to hear just literally from the man who masterminded this proprietary foundation of formulation that is specific to giving us in our bodies what we need, and most especially what we're not getting out of our diets right now. So Tom Maurer Jr., are you with us tonight? And can you take us through Encompass 360 and give us a little bit of an indication what Encompass 360 is, quick how it works, and then we'll move on to our weight loss winners for Q4.
Thank you, Aaron. It's great to be here tonight. And as Aaron mentioned, I've been working on a formulation for many years, and we have got it put together, and I went to Japan and was able to launch this last week, and it was very well taken and widely received, and for a few reasons. One thing, we talk about 13 essential vitamins. These are 13 vitamins that scientists and doctors recognize that are essential to our diet, and they're essential in the fact that our bodies either we do not produce them at all, or we produce such inefficient amounts so they have to be supplemented through the diets that we have. And one thing we do know is that as food has become less nutritious over time, we get less and less of the vital nutrients that we need, and so there's a real need for this. And looking at just some interesting demographics on multivitamin use, it's the number one supplement that people purchase. It's really a simple product to talk to people because, for the most part, they understand the need for a vitamin and a mineral. It's not a no-brainer like coffee. Everybody, for the most part, drinks coffee, and that's an easier product to talk about. But about 50% of everybody in America purchases a multivitamin. So once again, how do you make the very best? and how do you make it affordable? Well, one thing where we do manufacture and we do our own research, we're able to find out what needs to be in there. If you go back to the 1930s, that's really where they started to identify vitamins and what they do. And so they came up with a standard. At that point, they called it an RDA. Now it's called an RDI, and that's a recommended daily allowance, or the amount that you need to have every day in your diet. Well, those are really the bare minimums. We know that we need to have this much to function effectively. But we do know that virtually everyone's deficient in that. And so what happens when you're running on 80% or 50%, it's kind of like driving a car that has 3 full tires and 1 flat tire. It'll go down the road, but it doesn't work really like it should. And so as science has gone on, we found also that giving higher levels of many of these vitamins has additional benefits. When you're talking about all of the B vitamins that you'll find in this formulation, actually all the vitamins, you're going to see that we have, 830% of vitamin C and 610%. And the B vitamins, you'll find we have 750% of RDI and 660 and 1,000 vitamin B12. Because what we do know is if you want better energy, if you want better stamina, better recovery, there are studies that show if you have higher levels than what's needed for your basic function, there's added benefits. And so when you see this formulation, you'll see that it's really overbuilt from what doctors say you need, but there's added benefits that go along with this. Now, this formulation, we've also put all 9 of the major minerals that your body needs every single day. The only one I would say that is really lower than what you're going to get in your diet would be the calcium. So I recommend that you take the calcium K2 product with this to maximize the calcium in your diet. But we have zinc and selenium, magnesium, copper, magnesium, phosphorus, iron, and calcium in this formulation. Now, the proprietary blend that we put in here, I've really focused on a couple of interesting things. People are obviously concerned about fatigue, cognitive function, along with muscle, bones, skin. And so I've added ingredients to this. One of the major ingredients I added was rhodiola. Rhodiola has been proven over hundreds of years of use, but through science, over the last few decades, it's really come to the forefront. It really helps with fatigue. In fact, over in the Soviet Union, they studied it to the point, and they did a lot of studies with their athletes and with their military forces on recovery, and you're seeing it come out in different products, and there's a lot to that, and also it helps with cognitive function. And we've added other things, such as I have some backup in there to help with brain function, put some L-glutamine in there, MSM for bones and muscle, and then we've included milk thistle also, which is great for liver, heart, acetyl L-carnitine, once again for cognitive function, turmeric, which helps with the brain, which is an antioxidant also. Now, there are many things. Right now, we talk about scientists from about the 30s on have identified 13 vitamins, 9 major minerals, and this list continues. There is a need for trace mineral supplementation, so we've added a fulvic acid blend that has over 48 different trace minerals in there that we do know our body will utilize. Now, many people ask, why do I need a multivitamin mineral? If your body is hungry for this, it's like if you're deficient in calcium, your body will have a tendency also to pick up other minerals such as lead. And the same is true with most nutrients. If you saturate your body with good, healthy, clean vitamins, minerals, and trace minerals, then when everything from a radioactive isotope or other types of compounds that can mimic that or enter your diet, your body is much more likely to reject that or not to absorb it if you have adequate amounts in your system. Now, the fulvic acid blend that we have that has the trace minerals in it, if you look at this, fulvic acid is a plant material. And so these are coming from deposits from millions of years ago where the plant has ingested these trace minerals, and so they have an organic component to that where they've been digested by a living organism. This is how we're meant to get the minerals in our diet. And so I hope you take time and you can look at our website. I see they have the banners up now. This product is available right now, very bioavailable. It's in a vegetable base veggie cap. It's a gluten-free formulation. And if you have any questions, I hope you send those in to us. But when I was in Japan, we actually sold at least one bottle for everyone who came to the meeting. It was very widely accepted, and people can see the use for that. So, Aaron, back to you.
Well, thanks, Tom, and I think everybody, and I hope everybody, at least I believe everybody, probably is literally sitting here saying, good grief, we really know what we're talking about, because I have no idea what you're talking about half the time, and I had told Tom earlier that sometimes we get heavy on the science, and it makes it a little bit difficult for people, but here's the great thing to know. You can validate the science. You can trust the science. You can trust Sisel. You can trust that the Mowers have been looking at these ingredients for the last 30 years, literally trying to identify the best sources to give us so that we have everything we need. And this is a comprehensive blend, multivitamin, mineral base with, again, these adaptogenic effects that allow the body to have better recovery and better endurance and all of these factors that are important for us. And again, I love it because as we move into the fourth quarter winners, it's exciting to me because we're talking about weight loss. And so, Tom, thank you very much. When we talk about, on average, a bottle being sold per person at each one of these events, you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of bottles, everybody, because Tom was out in, I believe it was 5 cities, spent some time in some of our biggest markets in Japan. And as everybody knows on this call, Japan is our biggest market. So as he was out and about, he was telling people the way to get the necessary nutrition into their bodies so that they could have what they need. Now, the other thing that he talked about, and I've had this question come up a couple of times now, is why are we looking at Encompass 360 as a good multivitamin mineral base versus, let's say, Spectramax? And one of the things is that Spectramax is high in our essential trace minerals, 74 of them in our essential trace mineral blend, but we're not talking about it as high in the vitamin side. Yeah, we've got a lot of extracts and some good doses, but what Tom just went over is you're talking about vitamin A having 240%, vitamin C 830%, vitamin D 150%, vitamin D 150%, vitamin E 610%, et cetera. Those are the numbers that are specific to us getting what we need. Well, on the flip side of life, we have these individuals that are out there and they're working diligently every day, and life gets in the way, and pretty soon you find yourself maybe putting on a little bit of weight, and you're struggling and trying to figure out how to come down off of this difficulty that you've somewhat set in motion. And maybe it's been over the course of years and years and years, or maybe it was a stressful event that triggered it a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 5 years ago. But whatever it is, for some reason in North America, we've got 67% of our population either clinically obese or at least overweight. And so we know this. We know what we're dealing with. We know the issues that surround it. We know the problems that are challenges and that we're facing on a daily basis. So once you see somebody having success in this area, whether they're just trying to put on some lean muscle mass, whether they're trying to tighten up and tone, whether they're trying to lose that clinically obese figure that they're in, whatever it may be, the products that we have allow the body to literally start utilizing the sources of material that they're getting from the supplementation versus just what you're trying to feed it on a daily basis. Because one of the things that we also know is that over the last, 30, 40 years, we've really changed our diets. But not only just our diets, but we've also gone into a path that is fairly self-destructive in number of calories that we're taking in per day. Now, number of calories can be specific because if you're getting good whole foods and from whole food sources, you really have the ability to take in what your body needs. And again, you're getting it from, not a bunch of processed foods. But realize that all of those calories that we're screaming for are because our foods are nutritionally deficient, like I mentioned earlier. So if the World Health Organization a number of years ago went in and looked around the world and did a study, and they said that on average 82% of the world is nutritionally deficient in their food sources. 82% of a deficiency. And so when we talk about the issues that we're dealing with, we are also seeing that our bodies are screaming for nutrition, but we can't get enough of it, so we keep on eating more and more calories. And so that's what kind of leads us to what we're talking about next, is that we have this incredible meal replacement product that really allows us to take in the right types of protein to start that metabolic and thermogenic burn that really literally just starts melting fat off of you. And if you take it the right way, and if you don't add too much fruit, too many sugars, don't put it in your ice cream and expect to lose weight, but it tastes great. It's an easy mix. I use a fork and water, and for me that makes it very simple. But for some people, they like to put it in a magic bullet and throw some different things in there. I got some great things from Dan Kinnison one day, who was talking about how good the mocha was in an iced shake, and I created an iced coffee with our meal replacement product. It was phenomenal. And so we've got all these people out there that are running full speed ahead, trying to figure out how to get out of this epidemic, this pandemic, if you will, but this epidemic that literally is one of the toughest things for people to deal with. We've got an opportunity now to start listening to some of the success stories, people that literally took the challenge during what I consider to be the hardest time of the year, the holidays, both Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's. We've got those two kind of set times where people spend a lot of time together as family and friends, and what do? We eat nonstop. So I am so congratulatory right now. My hat goes off to each one of the participants, those people that were able to make it on this call tonight. We had a couple of people that weren't, but what a great opportunity it is for us to spend some time and chat about this stuff. But I can't hold back anymore. I'm going to have to jump right into it and have a conversation about this, because I want to find out exactly what these guys did and how they did it.